Alright boys, so just want to throw the fairing on there and it fucking miraculously looks like it's all gonna fit underneath. Working on the up pipe right now. Got my wiggy clamp tacked in, so I know all my dimensions now. I'll finish this air box. I'll either finish the box or the up pipe right now. As you can see, this was the side that my air filter was originally on. That's why there's a big cutout. The dumper looks like it's gonna fit real good. Another thing that I gotta worry about is I'm gonna have to do some fab work here. This might go down and around and up. I'm not sure. On the shifter, I might move the shifter. I'm not sure. This is gonna kind of be a land speed racing setup. So, what up, folks? Today's gonna be kind of a big day. All the fab work's starting to really come together. I'm gonna weld on the sides, and last night I made my pieces for my end tank, or for the entrance to the intercooler. Initially I had this flange welded directly here, so I didn't have this plate, and I was just looking at it, and to me the flow, I didn't like how it flowed, so I added this plate. I turned this a little bit, and it gives it a lot more room. What I did was I added these cuts, so the box will direct air. I'm not really good at explaining this right now, but I reduced the sides so it will force, rather than have air get caught in these corners and circulate, it'll be forced into the intercooler. So last night I taped the sides on. I had an air chuck and I was just blowing it in. I had my hand underneath the intercooler, and it was super even flow throughout that intercooler, and that wasn't under pressure. It was just under with the air chuck. So right now I'm just fitting all these pieces. They're all made, all hand formed. So it goes like this, and it fits a little better. But so anyways, I'm gonna tack these on, then I'm gonna get the sides, then I'm gonna get these tabs, and that's where my temperature sensor is going to get mounted. The thing that I got to do is finish the up pipe. I welded, we'll go around to the other side. I welded the first two pieces, and then I'll have to get the piece that goes down from the intake manifold to meet up with this. I got it pretty well fitted, but just have to do final fitment. And then this is where a bung is going to go for the signal to the wastegate. Okay, quick tip. Initially when I did these videos, I wanted to do it so I could show people how to do the fabrication, but I've just been running out of time. So when you get aluminum, it's hard to just tack together. You actually have to take some filler rod and kind of dip in a little bit, otherwise it just doesn't tack as easy as stainless. So what I do is there's this stuff called welding tape. I believe it's welding tape. It's just a Z tape. They probably charge a lot more for it from the welding store, but I tape everything together so that way when I go and tack it, it doesn't fall off, and it saves a lot of time. With stainless, typically you can hold it and give it a tack, but with aluminum, I feel that you have to add filler rod while you're tacking it. Well, I just realized I wasn't recording at all. I was rambling for like 5 minutes. So I got the bottom part of my intercooler all tacked up. Looks pretty good for mocking up. That was where I had it initially. I don't know, hopefully you can see it. I'm going to take a little bit off the bottom pipe, and then I'll mark this and I'll weld it, or tack it, probably weld it. I was going to put this bung either here or here, and then I remembered that the blow-off valve has to be kind of right here. So I'm going to end up putting this bung.
I might even end up putting it, I think I'm going to put it here. Easily accessible. And then the blow-off valve pipe will come off kind of right there, I think. And I'm
debating whether I want to put the blow-off valve kind of in here, or out here. I kind of like it in here. It's nice and tucked away. It just the pieces that I was making for the hold downs, the plenum hold downs, so they're going to be tacked on right about here, and then there'll be a strap that goes in between the two. So what I'm going to do is final measurements and then tack all this stuff on. This is where my air sensor will be mounted, and then it will get a really good reading of what's actually going into the throttle body. One thing I like to do when I'm grinding stuff like this, because I'm getting real close and it's going to be hard for me to, if I just start grinding this, I'm not going to tell what I'm actually grinding. So I'm just going to put like a little rim of black all around this. And then when I'm grinding, I'll be able to see exactly how much I've ground off, because I only got to do basically like a millimeter. Just a little advice. Alright, busting out a brand new tile Q blow-off valve, or QRJ. I'm lucky enough Tile's actually sponsored me this year, so they sent me a blow-off valve and wastegate. So this actually uses the same steel V-band flange as the wastegates, the MVS wastegate. Really slick setup here. And this is aluminum flange. This comes with a couple different setups. It comes with a coupler, so you can just use like coupling hoses if you want to do recirculation. You can buy these V-bands, so you can have both sides V-banded if you want to V-band back in for recirculation. It also has this like screamer, I guess, chirper, I don't know what you'd call it. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to try and weld it directly to that up pipe. Hopefully it just mocks right up and I don't have to add another pipe. That'd be so sweet. So we'll see. So here's what I'm talking about. This hopefully will fit in there like that and I don't have to add another in-between pipe. And we're going to see. I got to put the phone down. Oh my God. I think it might actually just frickin' bolt right on. That would be absolutely amazing. So I'm gonna get the intake manifold, put the intake manifold back on, do some final measurements. What I can do is, I really kind of want to mark it right now, but I don't want to unless the intake manifold's on, because the spaces are pretty tight in there. Maybe I should put this flange on. I might get everything nice and snug and then make sure it fits in there. It's better to measure, you know, measure twice or whatever. Measure twice, cut once. There you go. Okay, I think I got my positioning on my blow-off valve. I'm gonna tack it up real quick, nice and secure. I'm gonna put everything on. I'm gonna dry fit it, take it all back off, finish this prick. All right, y'all. Tacked up the blow-off valve. Thing's freaking looking pretty nasty. Put this tube on so you can kind of check all the clearances. I had a couple people PM me like, how are you fitting all this shit on here? And it's not easy, you know. I mean, I'm gonna have some little fitment stuff that I got to deal with, but blow-off valves tacked on there. Once I do the recirculating, I'll probably end up, this will be here, so I can run this pipe right here into this area. I'm not sure exactly. I'm not going to run the recirculating this time, so it's not a huge deal. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to throw the intake manifold on real quick. I really have no idea. This will be the first time I'm doing it with this wiggy clamp attached, so I'll do that and then I'll come back with how it fits. Unbelievable, but it all fits, so. Here's a go at it with the fairing on, or the radiator. It's tight. It's tight, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's gonna work though. Okay, another quick look with the fairing. So blow-off valve is tucked in there nicely. Turbo's back there. This fairing kind of stretches out. I might move the radiator back just a tad by filing that bracket down. Alright folks, so I got my tank tie downs. I got my temperature sensor bung welded in. It fits in there fine. Got my tabs welded on, and I just made these tie downs. You're gonna have so much trouble with the turbo bike if you don't make tie downs, because the intake manifold loves to blow off, and etc, etc, etc. I'm gonna have to do, I shouldn't have welded the top of this like I did on that one. So these both fit. What I'll end up doing is maybe like sanding that down a little bit or grinding this. That's not a big deal. I can do that tonight. One thing I did want to show you is, I believe this is a 6 mil Allen head, and then a 6 mil nut, but it actually fits in there perfectly, and it holds itself in because there's some little ridges in there. So once you get the bolt tight, you can just tighten it up and it'll kind of self-tighten that bottom nut. So that's really nice. So one thing I got to do is I got to grind this down. I shouldn't have TIG welded it on top. I should have left it like that, but I can grind this down. That thing fits, I mean, dead nuts on. Oh. So everything's nice and, I mean, super tight. The whole bike shakes when you try and touch the intake manifold. Rex. Hey, Rex.